Hi there, I am Velocirix, and this video we're using Northern Ocean's map. And by the way, the reason that I'm using Northern Ocean's maps pretty consistently for this series of videos is that the terrain on this type of map tends to be uh, more marginal than you find on most other map scripts. And so the thinking is, if the ideas that I'm demonstrating here work on this kind of, usually suboptimal terrain with lots of dead tiles and stuff, then it's going to work everywhere whatever kind of map script you play. So I kind of gravitate toward these maps because they tend to be a little rougher on the start. And same reason for starting with no resources is because if you're playing at a lower level and you actually have resources to work with, then naturally you're going to have an easier time um, getting a good, getting a good start. Now, this video is we're actually going to do a couple of different things. First, we're going to talk a little bit about resource prioritization because, I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of different kinds of currency in this game, and trying to figure out which ones are the most important when, and that changes from different at different points in the game, which things are relatively more important than other things. So we'll talk about that some, and I also specifically wanted to use Babylon here because I want to do another example of um, attacking a barbarian camp using a civ that doesn't really have any kind of, like one of the other videos that I've done in this series, we played with Assyria. Well, Assyria is just really good at stomping barbarian camps. Um, Babylon doesn't really have any native strengths that make its slingers amazing against a barbarian camp like Assyria or Rome or other civs do. So this will be a good example of, how you have to, if you just got a kind of a generic unit, how you can leverage your use your slingers, use your scouts and your settlers even in an offensive capacity to kind of bolster and magnify the power of your uh, starting combat unit. So here we're going to start with a slinger, going to start with a scout and a worker, and this is before we do all that, the same turn one thinking applies. We're going to step through spending these initial orders on turn one and see if we can come up with an optimal, really get a good strategic overlay so we get a strong start on turn one, which sets us up for success through the whole rest of the game. Now, first decision, of course, is what family to give this. I'm seeing fish, and fish means super good growth um, for hunters. So we could get a lot of mileage out of these if we do the Cassite family hunters. But to get even more mileage, we actually want to move up here. So we're going to spend in order to do that because that's going to give us another fish tile, which is another 4 growth if we use the hunters versus 2 if we were to use anybody else. So first order, we're going to just move up 1, and then we're going to found as the Cassites. Now, starting tech, we got 3 options. We could go divination, get shrines. We could go stone cutting, get stone, ironworking, get the ability to build warriors. We start with a slinger. Slingers take stone. I'm going to go stone cutting because we need that to build our starting stuff. Now, one thing right off the bat that I should mention here is we've got 2 ancient ruins on the map. This one is inside our borders. This one is not. That matters because this one, I refer to these as captive ruins. They're inside of our borders. Even if we have a neighbor right here, a rival nation, they're not going to declare war on turn one, and they're not going to walk over and take this from us. So we can just sort of leave that alone, kind of indefinitely, not indefinitely, but we don't have to rush right over here and see what's inside this ruin. Now, if there are neighbors over here on the map, this one is fair game. Anybody could just walk over and take it. So we do want to kind of make this one, getting this ruin or exploring this ruin, a little bit more of a priority. And ruins are a resource, right? I mean, because they can give you all sorts of good stuff. You never know. Well, we have another one down here. So we do want to place at least some priority on these ruins because the sooner we get them, the sooner we get the stuff from them. But here's the thing: some ruins have events associated with them that have a cost. Like, for example, you find an old mine and you have to spend 300 gold to restore it. And if you do, then you get a luxury. Okay, that's awesome. But if we got that right now, it would just be wasted because I don't have 300 bucks. Neither do you. Nobody does on turn one. So there is some value in potentially waiting to snag ruins until you are in a better position to, actually do something with the ruin. If you get one of those events that it requires you to shell some resources out to get something cool in return. Another one is, you run across some guys and you pay them 300 food, you feed them, and they give you a free tech. Awesome if you've got 300 food, which we don't have. So, you run the risk of losing that kind of thing if you don't have the resources to take advantage of it. So this one, I'm perfectly happy to just let it sit there till I get around to it, until I get, the basic setup. And the other thing is this one, since we know where a barbarian camp is, I'll probably get this one pretty early because we're going to drive over there and beat up on this camp. So we'll just get it. We actually don't have a choice but to get it if we want to do that, because this is a little narrow neck of land and we have to walk over that tile to get here. So we'll definitely be getting that ruin. We're just not going to get it on turn one. Now, in terms of uh, how to prioritize these, generally speaking, focus on the red. Anything that's negative, that's fairly important to turn green. Um, but in the very early game, growth is growth and food are the things that matter the most. Growth matters because growth is what is used to produce settlers, workers, the stuff you need to actually start playing the game. Um, and the more growth you have, the faster you get these things. So in the first, say, 20 turns of the game, I would rate growth and food as the A number one important resource. Now, depending on how you structure your game, you might arrive at different answers at different points in time. I'm just going to tell you what works for me. You can adopt that until you get comfortable with your own play style and figure out something that maybe works better for you. But for me, job one, turn one, let's improve growth. And there's a couple of different ways starting on turn one that we can improve growth. The first way, the way that I like to improve growth, is facts on the ground, map stuff, tile improvement. Now, starting with the hunters, we got, even though we had 0 resources at the start, we got 50 of each of these. So that actually gives us the ability to just jump right out and build a farm or a net. And since we started with the hunters, this net will actually give us 4 growth instead of 2, which it would give for everybody else, and 20 food instead of 10, which it would give for everybody else. Well, that's a good deal. And that's totally worth 2 orders to me to get that started. 1 order to move and then 1 order to actually start the work. So in 3 turns, we're going to increase Babylon's growth to 16. And that's going to shave time off of Jan the settler. The other thing we could do to shave turns off this settler is we could actually put uh, King Neb uh, in charge of the city as a governor. And if we do that, we get 2 extra growth. So I might take it back, but okay, so we're actually, Babylon gets a 20% boost to growth. So that's why that increased not by 2, but by 2.4 because we get the bonus, the growth bonus. And if you'll notice, the settler was 5 turns, and now we're going to get it in 4. Now, I don't know if I want to do that or not because it's only useful to me to get shave time off the settler if we actually have a place to put the settler. Now, technically, we do. We have a site B down here, but we would need to spend some orders to go check it out and see, who's good, who would be good to give this to. Now, offhand, just with what I can see here, I would say this would be a pretty good artisan uh, city because it could make artisans get a bonus for lumber mills and mines, and we got some hills here, which including a gold hill, which is money, and the artisans could make this pretty productive. So we could, even though we haven't busted the fog, we could say, okay, well, let's just hurry up and get that settler and get this going, and the artisans get a free worker anyway, so the worker could jump right out and get stuff started. Awesome, that might work. But we also have a fight brewing, and we would ideally like to kill this camp before the barbarians have a chance to spawn, so we're only fighting one guy instead of two. But to do that, we have to we have to move. Now we could move the scout up to here, check this ruin out, and bust some fog and kind of get eyes on what's up here. But if we're going to fight this guy, and we absolutely are, then we need to also think in terms of, let's get a general assigned to the slinger to make our generic slinger more effective in battle. Now she's actually a really good hero, but we have to pick. We can only do one or the other because assigning a no, actually I'm wrong. Take that back. Assigning a general takes 100 training, and putting uh, Neb in as governor would take 100 um, civics. So we could actually do both, and that would be our entire first turn. And that might not be bad, but see, this is kind of far-ish. So I think what I'd like to do is move my slinger out to here to kind of get him closer to the battle, and I can assign a general even if I'm outside of my territory. So I can do that and then put her in the put her on the slinger, and that takes up all of my moves. Now the other cool thing is she can heal in neutral territory, and she has the steadfast perk. So she's going to get a 20. So just by adding her to this uh, unit, we have now made it 25% more effective against barbarians, and she can heal up. So if she takes a hit, she can heal up outside of the territory. And you can see if I park myself right next to her, looks like I'm going to do what, like 4 damage. So let's undo. So now she doesn't have the general. Now I'm only going to do like 2.5. So that's the real world in-game impact of adding her to this unit, and I think that's totally worth doing because that's going to shorten the fight. Now we can always add King Neb to the garrison next turn or later or whatever, but in my estimation, in looking at this start, I am much more interested in getting rid of this problem than I am in putting a second city here. And by the way, this would also probably make a pretty good Sage's city because Sages really can leverage the power of marble specials. Because if I put a specialist on this, it gives me civics. And the Sage's family seat has this special power called inquiry, which gives you a bonus to research. It gives you a bunch of research points. But you can use that more effectively if you have more civics. This gives us more civics if we put a specialist on it. So if we could snag this as part of this city, like by founding here, that'd be big for Sages. But founding the Sages city also gives you a free tech. And so we probably want to wait until our third city to found the Sages. So maybe the right answer, because we've got some hills up here that we can see, is to make this our second artisan city and then make this our Sages city. We'll have to see what next turn unfolds. But so that would be how I would structure my first turn here. King Neb's already married. His wife, by the way, is not. She's actually a drag on our research, as you can see. But King Neb is. I mean, we got the best research in the game at 11. So we're off and running. We got stone cutting in 7, where most people wouldn't get it for 12 or so turns. We're going to get it in almost half that. So I think this is a solid beginning, and we're already starting the process of nailing down some additional growth and some more food. So at 3 turns, we're going to have a more productive city. We're going to be generating a nice big surplus of food. That's a great power play for Babylon. So let's hit end turn, and we're gonna walk through this battle and see how you can use these, not awesome units, although he got a lot better with the general, to just bust the crap out of this barbarian. So let's go. Let's rock it. Rivals are doing their thing. Okay, so one thing, when we get some money cooking, we can actually tutor the kid and help her, uh, become wiser and better to take over the throne when King Neb dies. But he's only 28, so hopefully that's not for a long time. Eh, You get to pick what course of study you want your kid to study. Personally, I like politics. That's my go-to choice because it unlocks hero, judge, scholar, diplomat, all of which I love, and orator, which is not horrible. Now, the others offer some good stuff, and you can decide for yourself which archetypes you like best. But for me, this one gets it done. So politics is my go-to. Now, I don't necessarily want to move my slinger first here. We've got 6 new orders. Uh, Scouts are your trailblazers, so I'm going to lead with my scout, but I'm going to do it piecemeal. I want to go here and see what this shows me before I decide what I'm going to do next. So we're going to do that, and I got some legitimacy because we made a discovery. So that's good. Same thing. I'm going to go here. We're going to get this ruin. Let's see what we get. Easter egg. Okay. So right here we can spend some money and maybe reveal some good stuff. I don't have any money, so I'm just going to take the XP. So yeah. And then I got one move left for my scout. I'm just going to move him here, which he cannot. He's got a range of 2. He's a skirmisher. He's a ranged attacker. He got a range of 2, so he can't hit my scout from here, which is very good. But then all of the rest of my orders is going to take all the rest of my orders to move to here, and that's all we can do. We're done. So see, the terrain is actually pretty challenging in here, and this settler's probably gonna be done around the time we finish killing this guy off. And in fact, we may wind up having to fight a second guy anyway because it's taking us a while to get here. So let's head in turn again and see. Well, and this is really, look, we got wheat. That's going to give us 2 growth for whoever we put here. We got gems, which gives us money. And if we put a specialist there, is a luxury. We got horses, which we could harvest for money before the settler comes in. This is an awesome site. Eh, so turn year 3, we can actually get our slinger into position. We got 3 options. We could hit from here, a range 2 shot, which as you can see, we'll do like 3.5. We could hit from here for 4, hit from here for 4. There is a right answer. The right answer is to hit from here. The reason that is the right answer is because this guy's a missile troop. And this tile only give us a 25% defense bonus against his missile fire. This gives us 50%. So that's how much damage he would do to us if when he hits us. Now, check it. So let's say I moved here instead. So we're still going to do the same 4. Well, he's going to do, well, actually about the same. So not a huge difference. Here, we're going to do not much because we're taking a penalty at range, but he's also not going to do much. But we want to end this fight quickly, so we want to maximize our damage, and we want to uh, make sure we have best available cover, and that's this. So we're going to come here and take a pot shot at him. Now, the other thing, though, is I would rather have him not hit my slinger at all. So we may want to move this guy up, and especially like next turn, because the Barbarian is coming, the spawn unit is coming in 2 years. So we may use our scout to run some interference for us. But before we do that, we have 2 orders. We have the 125 civics. I am going to go ahead and spend those to put King Neb in charge, because not only is that going to give us the growth in charge of the city, not only is that going to give us the growth, it's also going to give us a little bit more research, which will actually help to offset our wife a little bit, and it'll give us a bit more money because he's a prosperous leader. So to me, that is a good use of the orders here. We'll do that, and our settler's coming in 3, and then let's end turn, and this guy's going to take a shot at us, and that's okay. We're going to suffer some damage, but it's nothing that we can't handle. So okay, our daughter became a schemer, or is a schemer. That's pretty awesome, and she gained a point of wisdom. So cool. Uh, it doesn't look like this guy even shot at us for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, because he healed. That's weird. Um, Never actually seen that. So we're going to come down here and do some more growth. Now, this is now adding to the city, and we can see instead of the counter going from 3 turns to 2 turns, it actually went to 1 turn, and that is the effect of this 4 growth, or that plus King Neb. We're now adding, his 2 growth and this 4 growth plus our bonus. So our total growth in this city is now 19.2, which is insane. That's fabulous. And we're going to add 4 more to that in just a few years, which is amazing. So, yeah, this is awesome. We're off to a great start here. Um, we can't kill this guy in 1 turn, so we're just going to whack him. Since the settler is coming out soon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try something that might draw some fire. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to harvest these gems, which is going to give me 10 culture in Babylon. Now that matters because let's check out our culture. Right now our culture is 3 per turn. We're getting 2 because it's the capital. We're getting another +1 for these pearls, which are not yet improved. Now we'll get +4 culture when we actually get over there and put an improvement on that. But one of the biggest and most important things you can do for any city is to get its culture from weak to developing. And to do that takes 100 culture, of which we have generated 9. The reason that matters is because you can't start rush buying stuff until your city hits developing at a minimum. So the faster you can get a city to developing culture, the better off you are, which makes culture another type of currency in addition to these. Spending 1 order to harvest right here gives us 10 culture. So that almost doubles Babylon's current culture. Actually, that more than doubles because we had 9 and now we have 19. So we're what did it say before we did that? The Right. So we're 31 years away from going to developing. We just do this, and all of a sudden we drop from 31 to 27. That's pretty huge. And we can't harvest again until this symbol goes away, but that's no big deal. Um, and then we have 1 order to go. So I'm going to move here and I'll be out of orders. But next year I can harvest horses, which will give me $50. Okay, that's going to like more than double our money. That's pretty good. Now, this guy is now in range of the skirmisher. So he may take a shot at me. And if he does, he'll hit us for 2. And if he does, then that's a shot that my slinger doesn't have to take. I would much rather have a couple of points of damage fall on my scout and preserve my slinger. So that would work for me just fine. Then we're going to end turn. Okay. Now he's going to spawn, so we're going to see another dude appear, and that's going to suck. And he appeared back here. Okay, so here's where offensive scouting comes to the fore, right? First, we're going to harvest these horses and pick up $50. And then I'm going to kill, no, I'm actually not going to kill. We're going to hit this guy again. I do not want him to move here and wail on my slinger. So to prevent that, I'm going to move my scout here and stop. Now, this guy's going to, because the Barbarian AI is the Barbarian AI, he's going to hit my slinger. This guy may hit the slinger too, or this guy's going to hit the scout. This guy may hit the scout too, may fire on the slinger, may try to heal again. Don't know. Don't care. What I do know is that even if both of these guys take a shot at my scout, he's only going to suffer 4 points of damage, and he's a sturdy little meat potato, so he can take it. Now, I do have a settler ready to go, and I've got 3 orders left. I don't even care that this fight is still happening. I'm going to use all 3 orders to just march his ass on up here. And I am going to see if my money efforts will allow me to buy enough food. No, I can't. I can spend all my money and I still only have 51 food. And that's okay. Um, so we can't build another settler right this second, but here's what we can do. I can come up here and start to work on a militia. Now the cool thing about militia is, see, like if your slinger, he costs 50 stone. And he's the only thing I can build. I can't build this until I get a stronghold and developing culture. And then he takes a ridiculous number of trees and training points. We go, oh yeah, this guy we're not doing right now. Slinger would cost me 50 stone, which I don't have. Militia cost me exactly nothing, except he ties up my growth, which so did the settler I was building. That's why my city hasn't grown at all. And even when he's done, he only requires 1 food per turn upkeep, where the slinger requires a stone upkeep, which, again, I can't even make a quarry yet. So we're bleeding upkeep money that I can't afford to pay right now. Um, but this guy, I can make him pretty. And these units kind of suck. I mean, he's only got a 3 attack strength, but he has 20 hit points, just like everybody else. So even though this unit is not great, this is actually a pretty handy guy to have around. And I can knock him out in 3 turns, and that'll give me enough time to grow some more food so I can work on that next settler. So I'm just going to drop a militia in the queue because I can use him for defense or for holding a tile or for whatever. And they're not horrible units. I rely on them pretty heavily. So that's what I'm going to do. Get to give me another useful unit, and that militia can just be super annoying to the enemy too, by the way. And if we have an opportunity to demonstrate that, I will be more than happy to. But we'll see how this game develops. For right now, the priority is to clear this camp, so we got a place to put this guy, and that's the main focus for the next turn. So let's see what year 6 brings. And as you can see that if you've watched some of my other videos, like when we were playing Assyria, man, this fight was already over, with Assyria. These guys were struggling a little bit. Okay, so I can give her a couple of different things. I can either give her a point of charisma, a point of discipline, a point of wisdom. I care more about research right now than anything else. We're going to give her the wisdom. I don't even care about that other stuff. Okay, now this guy actually did kind of complicate my life a little bit, but he also hit this. So what I'm going to do is finally kill this. Yay, we've got the camp. But now I can't really get my settler where I want him to go. So this is going to be a little bit dicey because if I move my settler here, I don't want to move him right next to the guy because that would invite an attack. But I could maybe move him here and try to get around him if he moves again or whatever. But I think what I want to do is I'm going to leave this guy here and I'm going to try to draw this dude away so that my settler can get through. So I'm going to move my scout down here. And my hope is that this dude will either move here and attack the scout or move here or here and attack the slinger. And as you can see, my slinger's going to eat his lunch. He won't kill him in one shot, but my settler can't get up there in one shot anyway. So we kill this guy and we're free to settle. Um, the problem is I don't necessarily know that I want to move my slinger at my settler any closer because this is this dude's movement range. And if I move him even one tile closer, I'm suddenly a target. I don't want to do that. So I think I'm just going to leave this guy right where he is. And I don't have any money, so I can't tutor my kid or anything. So I'm just going to hit uh, end turn. And we'll cash those orders in for money. And let's see what this guy does. We're kind of playing a little cat and mouse here with this marauder. Okay, so the marauder moved off, and that's perfect. And we can now. I am going to come out, so we're point blank shot, and I'm going to hit him. And now I'm going to move my settler up. Now this guy could technically slide over here and take a whack at my settler. There's an outside chance he will do that, but probably he's just going to keep beating on the scout. He may take a shot at my slinger, which will kill him next turn, but either way, if he hits either of these guys, they're going to live and he's dead next turn. So that works for me. Now, here we have 2 options. I could put a mine here, but I don't want a mine there, and I'll show you why in a minute. Or I could slide over here and get ready to do the net. So I'm going to do this, even though I don't have the orders to get that cooking this turn. And again, I'm going to do that because I want the culture and I also want the money so that we can, when we have extra orders at the end of a turn, I can tutor the kid. I can influence this lady because she's already starting to get a little touchy with me. And we got to improve relations with her. So, and money will help me do that. So now that I've got my two food specials cooking and we're generating a nice surplus of food, and look, we'll have 100 food plus when this militia gets done next turn. So that's perfect. So now that all that, so we can start the settler next turn, no problem. We'll get some money going. And besides that, this would actually make a much better quarry because it's right up against this mountain. So I'm going to do quarries up here. I don't want a mine there. I want quarries here. And we'll let we'll mine these hills when we get the city finally established. Uh, but we need stone and we need a lot of it. And these quarries will be pretty productive. So that's what we're going for. But for right now, we must again just end our turn and see who he takes a pot shot at. Ow. Okay. Didn't see that one coming. All right. So we are in a little bit of trouble here, but not much. We're going to take the stone boost next. Now this guy can't get here yet, but we kill this, and now we clear out the zone of control. So now he can get here. And I don't want to spend any more orders than is necessary. And I really don't know what's up here anyway. So I'm just going to move here and found this as the Audisons. And that gets us a city. But you'll notice, okay, we're not going to start a fight with these guys. You'll notice that the city has taken a hit. That's because the settler took a hit. So the first thing we got to do is repair the damage. And then while this guy is sitting here, I'm going to heal this to start healing the scout. Now, clearly, I don't want to send this worker that I got for free, like over here, because this guy is going to probably come beat on the city again next turn, honestly. We got a couple of orders left. I got a little bit of wood left, but I don't have enough wood to actually start my nets over here. Fortunately, my free worker landed on some trees, so I can spend an order to chop those. And now I got enough to get the net started. And that's pretty much our turn. I would love to be able to heal up the slinger, but we're going to have another fight on our hands in just a minute. So we're not going to be able to do that. Uh, okay. We could, this is actually a really good event. Uh, I don't know why. Uh, yeah, let's see. This is the cardinal choice. This is only available to scholars, of which King Neb is. So normally, if you weren't a scholar, you would take this and you get a little bit of civics. We're going to take this and get more civics. And she's going to get influenced by us, which means her relationship's going to go up by plus 20. So that's a good event. We're going to go from 90 to 190, and she is going to go from 40, not plus 20. So she's going to go from plus 20 to plus 60, which is awesome. Our militia is done. Now, of interest, we don't have to slog through this challenging terrain anymore because our borders are touching here. So we have created a little intercoastal waterway. Next turn, when we actually have some orders, we can bring this militia over and he can help us fight this guy. So we'll actually have two combatants to challenge this guy, which will shorten that fight. And we now have 100 food, so we can crank out another settler which will be completed in 4 years thanks to our absolutely spectacular growth. And we added another family seat. So we got this family here. We don't yet know who leads the family, but we can see a little bit about uh, who the principal actors are. And this will get sorted out next year. And it, one of the main advantage of playing Babylon is stellar research. We're just going to rip through the early tech tree. So this is going to be awesome. So we're going to hit in turn, and we got some challenges here because there's apparently another barbarian camp over here, and we're going to go deal with that. Where we're going to fight this guy off on our turf, and then we're going to go deal with that. And yes, he's going to attack the city, which sucks. Um, I'm not going to pick either of these because I don't know if we'll be able to do specialists right away, and yeah, I'm not confident that we can do either of those, so we're not going to try. Um, okay, so problem: the city's being attacked, and that's going to do bad things to our discontent. Solution: bring the militia over, take a whack at him, and then get the kill shot with this guy. This is a great event, or this is a great promotion. Bloodthirsty is awesome because it makes her stronger if the unit that we're fighting is damaged. And of course, she seldom will be able to kill a unit in one shot unless she gets a critical. But Bloodthirsty will make her second attack stronger. That's useful. Swift is great because that makes her faster. And then, of course, this gives her a damage boost. I'm going to take Swift because I like the idea of having her be able to just haul ass all over the map. That's pretty useful. I'm gonna move the scout over here and finish healing him. So next turn he can just go out and see what's over here, and then maybe duck into these trees to take cover, and then we can respond appropriately to the camp wherever it is. So let's head in turn and do that, and we'll get to see another. We'll get to do another battle, but this time we actually have three potential units that we can use to best whatever we find at this camp. And we've already got our stone boost, which means now we could build another slinger or something. So handy. But I want to have uh, flexibility. So I'm gonna take ironworking next, so we can add warriors to the mix as well. First priority for me with things as they are, I am chiefly interested in finding out where this camp is. So we're going to come over here. Okay. He's going to spawn again in 2 turns. I want to find out more. Okay. And then I'm going to duck into these trees. I could get there and start beating on him. I don't know if we can kill him in 2 turns, but let's try. And that's all of our orders. So next turn, we may send the militia over if it doesn't if she can't get the kill shot. That doesn't look like she can. Oh, we may send the militia over. We may not. The scout probably is enough though, so I don't know. We'll find something else to do with this militia. Now, being somewhat resource constrained and having quite a lot of trees over here, I am actually pretty interested in building another worker. We started with the free worker, sure, but if I build a worker here, then I can use this guy to go chop. I can just dedicate him to chopping down trees, and then my other worker can come out and actually build stuff that we need. And that seemed like a pretty good deal to me. And since we've got a settler coming in 3, what may be the better choice for this militia would be to use him to come down and bust this fog out and maybe see what's in this ruin. And then we could, you know, kind of make a better assessment. Well, we have to give the city to somebody, and it's probably going to be the sages. But I would still like to get some eyes down here, bust clear a path to the city side, and see what this site has to offer, and we could get fairly far next turn. So that's probably how I will use this guy. But let's see what. Okay, so she got 40 XP. Sweet. And this is someone to marry my daughter. So I'm looking for someone with a good wisdom because that's going to bolster research when she takes the helm, and that would be this guy. And by accepting a marriage proposal from the Chaldeans, we improved relations with the Chaldeans. Now, she already has a point of charisma, and the way that bonuses in the game work is you're better off boosting scores that you've already got some ability in rather than minimizing your weaknesses. So, of these two, I want to give her charisma, and that'll actually give us an extra point of civics. And I'm gonna go politics again with my second child. And that is literally all we can do. So we're gonna hit end turn again, and we're gonna see what the next turn holds. Okay, I have some. I have an idle worker. I have 2 idle workers. We have a battle ongoing, and this is the priority. So I'm gonna take the shot here. But now the question becomes, because he's going to spawn again next turn, so I want to get this guy in a position where he can run some interference, but I also want to do some exploring. So I'm going to come here to bust some fog, and wow, look at all the good stuff. So we're going to have 2 dies, some fish, some more fish. I mean, so this is going to be a great hunter city, which means that when the settler comes out, we got to send him here and not up here, and then the next settler could come here, and this will be another hunter city, and that's good. I'm going to move my scout back to here and stop. Now, when this guy spawns a unit next turn, he's either going to appear in one of these 2 tiles adjacent to the city center, and since we've occupied these tiles, he has to appear here. And hopefully he'll be another melee fighter guy that'll land here, and he can take a whack at the scout and not our slinger. So we'll leave him there. And I call this using my scout offensively because he's basically just serving as a blocker and getting in the way. And then I'm going to take my militia and move him down here. And then next turn we'll check out this ruin. We'll bust this fog loose, see what we got. Um, Now, both of these families are, pretty happy with us. She's already been influenced by us. I could influence my wife if I raise a little bit of money. My wife is plus 20. That would make her plus 60. That wouldn't do anything right by itself, but it parlayed with some other event that we get later. That might be, not half bad. I only need 100 food to build the next settler, so I could actually sell off some of this to get 200 bucks, and I could influence. She's already super happy with me at 120, so I could influence the Chaldeans, which would boost this number. I could influence her anyway, which would make her even happier with me. Uh, or I could influence my wife. Now, influencing the people on this list, it generally helps your resources once you cross a certain threshold. We won't cross it with this, but I think it's probably still worth doing because other stuff could come up in the game that could allow us to increase the relationship further. So while we've got a couple of orders and while we've got the money, yeah, let's do that. And, happy wife, happy life, all that. So sure, absolutely. And then let's end the turn. Now, economic development suffered because the scouts were idled, but we'll fix that. We'll fix that. And we only have a few orders to work with, so we have to make choices like that. Okay, well, that's not great. So that hurt our research a little bit. So let's see what the battlefront looks like. Okay, well, we're going to kill this guy for sure. I'm going to move my scout here to give him a second target to choose from. I've got 7 orders left. I want to move him to the thing. I could become gracious and get 2 points of charisma, or I could get 50 civics and a free technology. Durr, that's the one I want. Tech, yes please. And then we're going to bust some more fog. Okay, well, this is a pretty freaking awesome site. I love it. I love it. Settler will be out next turn. Let's see what kind of trouble we could get up into. Well, we could come all the way up here and start a quarry, which will give us 9 stone. That sounds pretty good to me. Let's do that. 9 stone it is. We got 1 order left. What? We only have 10 wood. So I'm going to move out here and I'm out of orders, but next turn I can chop and that'll give me 20 wood and then we can do stuff. Okay, so let's see what the next turn brings. Babylon for a long time was my favorite civ. I just love these guys. Okay, well, that's what we expected. So, battle in progress. Let's play this. And this guy can't get around us to get to the site, so I'm not worried about losing it. Let's move the settler down here. Now, of interest, we do actually have enough points to do a forced march, but that would only get us to 1 more tile, and then we wouldn't be able to settle. So it would normally, I am not opposed to using forced march to get a settler in place 1 turn faster, but that's actually not going to happen here. So since it's not going to happen, I'm going to use my militia to just push back a little more fog, and we can kind of, it didn't reveal a lot, but at least it showed us more of what is around. And it looked like even if we found at the farthest extent, we still going to get this marble. So I want to do that, even though I don't necessarily know what's here, because that seemed like it would give us more tiles to me. So yeah, next turn, I want to move him to here. Found the city as the sages. We'll get a free tech, and we should finally have this wrapped up. So next turn will be a pretty big deal. Now, what do we want to do in terms of, well, actually, we know what we need to do. We need another settler because we got a city site just begging for another settler. So Babylon, courtesy of its phenomenal growth, is going to be our settler pump and crank out yet another one. And we can drive that process because we have really good food production. So let's see what this does. I'm going to offset his negative wisdom, and that's going to give us our point of research back. So now we're back to where we were. Okay, so I spent $200 to raise the relationship by 40 points. I don't want to lose it now, so I'm going to sell some more food because we have a surplus in that category, and hire what she needs, and that's also going to boost her relationship, her stats, which actually gives us some more training points in that case. So just like I said, we're going to come here. Oh, okay. Hang on. Hold the presses. Uh, Seeing that, I wonder. Yeah. Okay. So let's just do it right there. And, of these two, I mean, the sages to me are just far and away the better family than the traders. So, yeah, it's not even a contest. So we're going to do that. We got some legitimacy from the thing. We got some food. We put a specialist here. We could actually get more food. There's an island and some barbarians down here. Yeah, this is good stuff. So we need a worker, and I don't know after that, but we for sure need a worker. So yeah, that's done. We got 3 cities by turn 14. We're gonna kill this guy. Scout. I want to get him up here, but I also want to heal him. So I'm gonna stop here where we've still got an order left and drop a heal on him. And now he's back to full health. And when we send him out next turn, he can tell us what's behind door number 2, which is awesome. Unfortunately, we are out of orders again, so we still have an idle worker, and nothing we can do about that. Let's then turn and see what the future holds. Border boost is very tempting. All cities get 5 new border tiles. I would love to start working on some of these other techs. We could even redraw and get some different choices. But we're talking about getting 15 border tiles because we got 3 cities. That seems pretty good to me. I think that's worth 3 years of our research time. We're going to discover 6 techs because we're tearing the tech tree up. Okay, so we got a lot. We had a lot of priorities. We had a lot of things going on. The first thing I want to do is put our workers to work. So I'm going to come out here, and these are some pretty good shrines. But right now, I mean, getting 2 extra growth, that's always amazing, especially since we got the tech for it. 4 more culture. Again, or actually, we could actually, this is based on, you get culture based on how many tiles are adjacent to mountains. But I need the quarries also. And I think stone long term is probably more important than the few extra culture. So for my money, starting another quarry is the way to go. Hands down, the way to go. Now, we got this worker here. I'm going to use this worker to finally chop. That's going to give us 20 trees. Then I can use this worker to sail out here and do a mine, which is going to give us culture and some more money, and then we can use the money to increasingly buy anything else that we happen to be short of. Now, we still have some orders left. We got a lot we could do. For example, we could assign an ambassador. Now, the ambassador, we haven't met anyone. Normally, they're used for trade missions. So this is not a huge priority, except that it will boost relations with foreigners when we meet them, which we don't know when that's going to be, and tribes. And we have actually met one tribe. So this would actually improve things with this tribe a little bit. It costs 2 orders to do that and 100 civics. I don't want to do this because I don't want to hurt my culture. So I don't want to put my wife in charge. That would, uh, well, let me see. Maybe I do. Hang on. Okay. Just conjecturally, we might take this back, but let's say we put my wife in charge. If we do that, she becomes pleased, and the negative effect of her wisdom is reduced. The negative effect on the culture is reduced, and we gain 6 civics and 9 training points a turn. So that's not actually the worst thing, because a nominal drag on our culture, yeah, that sucks a little bit, but there's stuff we can do to boost culture in these other cities. So yeah, actually, I think I'm gonna. That is worth uh, 2 orders to get the wife happy and get these things. Because right now we don't really have a good way to get these things, and so that helped. So yeah, we'll live with the nominal hit to culture and do that. Now I can't get to the wonder or the ruin now. So rather than moving the scout, I think I'm going to move the worker because next turn I can just spend a random order to chop this forest. So the question is, what do we want here? Well, usually we start seeing barbarian raids around about turn 25 or at turn 15. So we got 10 years before barbarians start showing up. And when they start showing up, I want to be ready. Now, this is a craptacular place for building troops, but there's things we can do about that later. But for the moment, I would love to have a warrior to accompany my scout. So we're going to start that, and that's still going to leave us 20 metal, 20 iron to play with, which would give us an improvement, would give us another quarry, for example. And I've got enough food and stuff that I can sell other resources as needed to get help make up the difference. And I got this guy out here chopping, which will also help make up the difference. Um, and then we can't, because this cost 100 civics. We had an event to adopt a law. We can't do that anymore because that's 400 civics that we don't have. So we'll save up a couple of turns and we can actually add our first law. But and and there's an argument to be made for maybe we should have waited on promoting her and adopted this law now. But this law does allow scouts to move on water, and that is important. So, is it more important than boosting happiness with the wife and getting these? Maybe. You can make an argument for that, sure. But the scout has stuff to do right here on the island right now. So leaving the island is not necessarily a huge priority for me. Although now that we know that we're verging on that, we may want to dedicate one of our 3 cities, soon to be 4 cities, to building an extra scout so we can leave one at home for exploration and send the other one off over to here and go meet neighbors and do other fun things like that. So yeah, I mean that's a thing. I just don't know that it's a right now thing. So anyway, we'll think about that. But I'm pretty happy with this decision. So let's leave it at that for now and see what the new year brings. Babylon games tend to play, or at least tend to feel as though they play very fast because you're getting text at a good clip. A lot of things are happening just in rapid succession, and that's pretty awesome. Okay, this is cool. So our wife had a -2 wisdom, and this now that she's witty, so she gained a point of charisma, which is going to give us more civics. Awesome. When we meet somebody, because she's the ambassador for an opinion, will be plus 30. Awesome. And instead of losing a little bit of research and culture, we're now gaining both. Awesome. And he gained a point of charisma, which he had lost one earlier, so great. Oh, he gained a point of, he has a point of charisma, he gained a point of courage added to that, which gives us another 2 training points. You'll see this bump to 27, and there it is. So, wow. Yeah, doing this was totally the right call because this, you'll see that the research, the loss has gone down. Uh, yeah. Oh, we're good stuff. Okay. Um, Worker in 3, and this will be the worker's priority right here. We'll be uh, getting that quarry, and this will be a close second because this might wind up being first because that's worth half an order, and we could use the orders. So that's priority 1. That'll be priority 2. Uh, Settler in 1, we'll send them out. This waterway will certainly help speed that along. We don't need this guy here, so well, hang on. Let's explore this ruin first. Let's just do that. Okay, we could. That's a tough call. We could gain 5 orders and a new scout, which we were just talking about needing, or we could gain a new court scholar and bump our research up even more. I can build a scout, so I'm going to take the scholar. I can't magically give us more science, and that gave us 4 per turn. Okay, that was good. I'm just going to hug the coast and kind of see what we can see. Bloodthirsty would be nice, plus 10% versus damage, but doesn't she already? No, she's 25% versus tribals. Focus would be nice. I'm going to do focus. Yeah, oh, and I see Besieger is next. Okay, well, I don't know what exactly we're going to do with her, but I like that we have her promoted and we can get her patched up and we'll see what the scout reveals uh, next year. We still didn't employ all of our workers, but we just we have so much to do and just not enough orders at the moment. Okay. Of these, I like vassalage, but we have 2 choices. And of the two laws, exploration is what I want. Get my scouts on the water, and it will make the hunter's family a little happier. So heck yeah, moving the settler into position is my main priority. We want to move him there, but I don't have enough. So even if I forced marched, I don't have enough orders to actually get him where I want him to go. So we're not going to do that. The scout just took a hit. I'm going to explore to find the camp, and we're hidden now. And I'm going to heal up. Now, this will be an interesting fight to show off because this guy is away from his camp. And that works for us because we can fight these guys individually away, safe distance from the camp and not get dogpiled. And that's really good. So, yeah, as much as possible, we definitely want to do that. Now, over here, we know there's another camp. We could start working on another worker because we're gonna take that camp for sure. The worker will be, or the settler will be out in 6 years, but we could also, well, no, let's go ahead and start on. See, I don't know, that's a trap. It's turn 17. We have to start getting ready for barbarian raids. So I think I'm going to take the time to build another militia first because we've got this militia here, and I could use him to go help with the camp, and then Babylon builds a defender, and we could. And raiders are probably going to come from here, so we need to do militia, or yeah, we could get it. Well, we could get militia in 6, but that's going to actually be faster, or could be faster. I'm going to build a slinger. We're going to build a second slinger out of here. That way we've got 2 proper military units building and another militia. That's a decent beginning. Let's do that. The, the danger is with barbarians pretty aggressive. We don't want to expand too quickly and then not, get caught with our pants down. Oh, very nice. Yeah, let's take the free stone. Heck yeah. Okay, the Gauls are where? Oh, we'll address that in a minute. We need slavery because we need more orders, so that's a thing. We need robust because we need more orders, so that's a thing. Okay, where are these Gauls that we? So these guys gave us the stone. These guys, and that's on account of our monster border boost that we got, which just collected all sorts of free tiles. So these guys are going to raid us, and we're at war with them now, or we will be, because I'm not paying them $400 to, and that'll give us 6 legitimacy anyway. So yeah, screw these guys. Fourth in line. Unlocks inquiries in the capital if he's the leader, which he won't be. Uh, okay, we'll make him a diplomat, and we may. He's young, so mom dies and he uh, takes over. He may, yeah, well, yeah, because he could serve as governor or ambassador as. He could serve as a governor or spy master. I don't know. With the Charisma. He would make a good spy master. All right. Well, I don't know if we'll have that tech in time to do anything useful with it, but if we do, that would be useful. So we want to put this here, and this is absolutely a hunter's city, even though we could gain a relationship boost by giving it to these other. This is a hunter city, or not? Yeah, that's totally a hunter city. We gain some more legitimacy, and we'll start off with a worker. Okay. Wow. So a lot coming together very quickly. Turn 18, we've got 4 cities, and all of that was driven by these 2 incredibly good uh, growth tiles. So I think, well, we got one more camp. We'll do, because this is a pretty important battle. So let's do this camp, and then we'll stop the video. This will show a couple of different, you know, barbarian camps attacking with a civ that's not really explicitly combat oriented. So we're going to come here. This is not actually going to help us at all against. It's not going to provide any defense against a melee attacker, but that's as far as we could get, and we'll just take a shot at him, and that's our turn. So let's do that. We'll kill this guy off, and then the next turn we'll hit him again. I don't think we'll kill him, but we'll hit him again, and then we'll explore around here some more and see how many other people are over here. And this is where approach is important. We got to be careful because this is really our only genuine combat unit. So second in line becomes inspiring. Very nice. 260 bucks. We could get a caravan, or let's see. Uh, yeah. Okay, well, this is actually a pretty good minion. So we could get a caravan and a new staff member, or just a caravan, or just a staff member. So for 390 bucks, we could do both. Or we could gain a point of discipline, which isn't really all that good. So let's do this. So we get this guy who doesn't really like us much, but he's pretty talented, and we get a caravan. Even though we don't have anywhere to send it, I'm just going to sit on it till we do, and then we can send it somewhere and make a bunch of money. That sounds pretty good to me. So let's see. Let's just motor around. Okay. So there's 2 more guys. We're not going to kill this guy this turn. And we don't have anyone in the neighborhood who can even do that. So let's go here, and we're going to do another mine. And I'm interested in mining like adjacent to this, because every mine we put adjacent to this, we get this gets better. So it went from 2 to 2.4. It's going to increase marginally for every mine we put around here. So I'm not going to put a mine here, but I will put one here and here, and that'll give us at least some adjacency bonus, and then we'll mine all of this. And this actually is giving us our first iron, because this is just giving us gold. So that's useful. This tree has since grown back, so I'm going to chop it down again just because I'm standing on it. And I'm actually going to come out here and do another farm. And, this is not great. But it will increase our growth by +2, which is helpful. And it'll give us more food, which we've been relying on selling. So yeah, that's helpful too. Now I've still got 6 orders left, and I kind of want to get this guy, um, you know, back up where he can do us some good. I'm going to park him here, and then he can come across the waterway next turn. So we'll just end his move there. This guy is going to come out and we'll sell some food. We'll buy some trees and we'll get a camp going, and that's going to give us, another half an order. And this guy is at least going to move to the next site of the quarry. And we could actually spend 100 of our training and get the quarry started right now. And I think that growing the economy is important enough that I want to do that. And since this video is about resource prioritization, I think that's a pretty good illustrative point of how important I regard the economy is. I'm willing to spend training points, which we don't have a lot of, to actually speed that along a little bit. Because it would not hurt us. What would not hurt my feelings at all to be able to build the pyramid, say, and get another order and cheaper laws. That would be awesome. So the faster we put some stone together, the faster we can do that. And we'll check that out. And after this finishes, we'll just see what's possible. And next turn, we will finally kill this fool. All right. Now we won't really have taken a ton of damage, and we can heal on the way in. So to the camp. So good. I don't know what that guy was doing, but okay. Connections versus relations. Cassite family expected to marry one of their own. Ooh, and she sucks. She's actually really good. So the Cassites are super happy with us. I think we're going to tell them a polite no and let he's our fourth in line kid, so this is not really going to, well, he's our fourth in line kid, and this is not really going to help hurt us either way. And she's literally insane, though. She's literally insane. Um, Although she is a hero general, so maybe that wouldn't be the worst thing. But she's she's an inspiring scholar, and but all families take a hit. Yeah, okay, he'll marry the insane girl. Now this Chiquita is in love with us. So watch what happens here. If we say we don't, this number is going to nosedive. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So we're going to write back that we're in love with her because I would rather see that number go up than down. So yeah. Okay, can the militia actually get here and kill this fool? He could, and I'm willing to let him do that. So the militia just aces him. This guy lets. Okay, let's move here. And this guy. Okay, so yeah, watch. This is going to be. I'm going to come here and I'm going to take a pot shot at the camp. Oh, when I got a critical. Okay, so what's going to happen next turn? He's going to get a shot at me and he's going to do like half a point of damage. He's going to come here and he's going to do another point and a half of damage. And that's fine, whatever. Next turn, I'm going to go around him and take out his camp. We're just going to circle around him, get around the zone of control, kill this camp, and then we'll deal with this dude later. Well, and we'll bring the militia up to see the militia. He didn't really do a lot of damage, but that 2 points that he did to the Marauder freed up our unit to go do more important stuff. And to me, that's just worth its weight in gold. So that's pretty big. Now this guy, we're just gonna park him here. We don't care. But now we do need, because we're about to take this camp, so now we do need to get the settler cooking like yesterday. And we actually have orders to spare at the moment. Well, we got not much we can do with them because I spent a ton of money. Let's see. Can we? Well, we could conceivably. Yeah, let's sell some food and we will influence this family head as the number's a little bit weak. So let's see if we can shore that up. And then we'll just cast the last order out and call it done. Boy, a lot happening. These Babylon games are fun though because they really just develop so quickly, and I love that. I do. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so these cultural events are always super fun. You get these when you go from one culture level to the next. Uh, I love this event because it gives us me civics and culture, and that sounds pretty good to me. So we're going to come over here. We're going to whack this. We took it out, and now we got to fight this guy. And then, whatever. That's not the worst thing. And I believe this is its own little isolated pocket of goodness. I'm going to come up here to make sure. Yes, it is. And so now we can go somewhere else, somewhere not here, somewhere like up toward the Danelands and see what they got in store for us. Now, again, I got 5 spare orders that I have absolutely nothing to do with. And I mean, I literally can't do anything because we don't have anyone to send a trade mission to. And he's already on a mission. So, wait, let's see. Yeah. So she's idle and can be sent on a mission. We could go talk to the Danes but that's not going to work. We could send, yeah. Okay, so if we had $100, which we could get, we could, okay, so this guy, Catfish of Babylon, don't really like us. She don't really like us. She's the lady in charge of the slinger. Okay, so let's spend a little bit of money and see if we can get some help getting the lady in charge of our slinger unit kind of on our side. Oh, that was useful. Okay, take husbandry. Beat the crap out of this guy. Come down and heal. Wait. Did he move? No, he didn't move to his farthest extent. So let's do that, right? Actually, shoot, he can get all the way over here. Unless. Oh, because he can go in the water. Yeah, we don't have to take the long way round. So oh, and look at that. Yeah, let's check it. I'm going to restock the money. I know it's not very exciting, but yeah, we could certainly use some more money. Alright, so that's done. We're going to come over here and get the quarry cooking. And we'll put, this will be like a triangle of quarries. That'll be very good. We're going to come up here and we're going to get some more food cooking because this is proven to be our go-to saleable resource. So why not? Let's use it. I don't think we are in any immediate danger. I'm going to go ahead and just send the militia up that way and hope that we don't get attacked by, random raider barbarian or something. That was a kind of a big turn. I'm gonna miss old King Ned when he's gone. He's man, he's robust. He's got lots of orders. He's prosperous. He's a great researcher. Ah, jeez, like a dream leader. Okay, so he's not charming. We can't do that. So we either both of us gain 60 XP, or yeah, the general's interceded. So let's do that. And so now she's at plus 40. So she went from minus 60 to plus 40. That's pretty good. This guy is also at minus 60. So we may want to do that again and get this guy. Yeah, let's do it again. Shoot. We didn't quite kill him, so he's going to get another shot at us. Okay. Let's send our scout first. Okay, these guys are the Gauls. They're at war with us. He's going to take a shot. There's a bunch of Danes there, and they're going to raid. So we actually need to kind of bolster this because they're going to come straight south and hit this city. Now, see this is going to give us more iron for our mine. We'll do this one last. 60 culture in Babylon would be nice, but actually the 120 civics would be even better because that would let us establish another law. Okay, well, we're not becoming debauched. I'd rather not become corrupt. I will take the 2 legitimacy hit. That's going to hurt us a little bit, but that's all right. That's all right. Okay. Now we don't know. Well, we could maybe get these guys if they turn rogue, they'll probably raid here. So we do need just a token something something. We can build a slinger just as fast as a militia, so we might as well. We're not going to build any settlers or anything out of here, at least not for the foreseeable future. So what do we need? Well, we could use some more stone always, but there's really no good places for that here. We could build a wonder. Let's see, we could build the oracle right now. Give us 4 culture, give us spies in every holy city on the map. But, wouldn't be the worst thing. We could for $600, we could build pyramids out here, and that would give us an extra order, which we're already struggling to spend, by the way. Babylon is our strongest cultural city, and we could, you know, build pyramids here, which would push our borders out a little bit. Eh, the Great Ziggurat requires a holy city, and that makes terraforming cheaper. Well, I tell you what, uh, okay, Shrine of Marduk gives us 2 culture plus an order when it's adjacent to a wonder. The Great Ziggurat can be built anywhere if there's a holy city. So what we could do is build this. Babylon becomes the holy city, and uh, then we build the wonder and get more border bumps. So let's do that, right? So we're kind of approaching it from the opposite direction. I still, by the way, haven't. Let's see what's behind door number 2. We've got this. Okay, so right, this is perfect. This is exactly the example of what I was talking about, where some of these events require that you spend some money. So we could spend $390 and get a luxury that you normally just don't even have access to, and we're absolutely going to do that. So yeah, presto changeo, and just like that, we have a shiny new luxury. Now, this is, I guess, a pretty well. Okay, uh, I'll stop the video after we kill this guy because that will have secured us another camp, and that's kind of what we want. Here, I'm gonna sell some more food and buy. Yeah, and I think I'm just gonna make another warrior out of here because we're again, we're really getting close now to when we can expect to start seeing some raiders, and we kind of need to brace for that. The good news is we do have a pretty respectable intercoastal waterway, so even though we don't have a lot of guys, if as long as we don't get raids from multiple points at once, we should be able to dance around and get the troops where we need them until we can get more built. And I chose a warrior up here specifically so we would not be spending money on the spending stone on slingers. Now, I like slingers. Slingers are useful, but if we want the gray ziggurat, we got to kind of manage our expectations there. And this guy will keep doing quarries, and we'll check it out after. Yeah, so after this finishes, we'll see how close or far are we from uh, being able to even do the gray ziggurat. Don't know. Don't know. We'll see. So one more turn, and I think we'll bring this video to a close. Right, and as you can see, though, I mean, we didn't we struggled a little bit with the bringing the camps and the barbarians under the to heal. We're going to do the even though we're right now struggling to spend our orders, we're totally going to do that. And we're going to kill this guy, and that pretty well brings us to a close. So in 24 years, we've got 4 cities, soon to be 5. We're beginning to put together a proper army, mostly defensive at the moment. We're sitting on some good raw materials. We got a luxury. The economy's growing. We're green across the board. We've got an impressive amount of stone, and we've got some saleable resources. So it, we are in a pretty strong position. Now, I would like to be able to build uh, warriors more quickly. So, although I am tempted to uh, put some of these resources into play, and again, talking about resource prioritization, for my money right now, iron is our thing because we're trying to conserve our stone. This is our lowest count, so I would judge the priority here, resource priority here, to be metal. And in planning it out, I would like to see a triad of mines right here in town. So I'm going to start with this one because that's clear cutting that forest is going to actually give us some nice wood supply that we can use elsewhere, and then we'll put the mine there. So we'll do mine, 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 and that'll be good. We're going to take this guy who took a hit. I'm going to come up here, do some exploration, and I don't care that he's a little wounded. I'm just right now we're just looking at potential sites. So he'll get a little dinged up. When he gets hurt bad, we'll come back home and heal him, and it'll all be fine. Um, I think that these raiders will come south and land here. So to that end, I'm going to start lining warriors up along the coast to keep them away from the city. We can move them around, later uh, when we see exactly where they're coming from. Some of the barbarians might come here, so I'm gonna put a forward element out here. I'm actually going to, yeah, we'll bring him over here, heal him up. So we'll start to form kind of a defensive line uh, against would-be aggressors from here. And we're just going to keep at it. And then after this settler finishes, the plan would probably be just to spit out a couple of militia because this city can make them so fast. And we'll just have a little screen like 4 militia. We got this one, and we'll put 3 more. And let's just go ahead and queue that up. So that'll give us a decent, not perfect by any means, but a decent screen against potential raid, barbarian raids. And I think this is a good place to stop. I hope you found this one educational and informative, and that it helped clarify at least some of the resource priorities in the early game. Growth and food are pivotal, but honestly, later on, as the game progresses, iron is only important to the extent that you're building warriors. Warriors are your early melee unit. If you want to go warrior heavy, you need more mines, so you need to plan accordingly. But beyond the early game, stone is the cardinal resource because stone's needed for wonders. Stone's needed if you want to have any early game ranged units in the game, and stone's needed for just about every major, uh, urban improvement that you would ever want to build. So Stone eventually eclipses everything else in terms of priorities, but the others are important. I mean, wood is important because it drives the early game economy. You can't create an early game economy without wood, and later on you need wood for archers and the Akkadian, the Babylonian special unit, and biremes, and all that stuff. So that is important to a degree, but wood's also semi-renewable as a resource. You chop trees and they grow back. So until you can get lumber mills, you usually have at least some access to wood. We haven't had any problems so far. Uh, Food important, food and growth important early on for pumping out those initial settlers. But after you've done that, then food and growth becomes not unimportant because you still want population growth for more specialists, but less important. And then stone just becomes increasingly important as the game progresses. And that's how I would. And money is, I mean, it's the most flexible resource, so it's always fairly important. You know, culture is only important, I would say, to the extent that the most important culture bump is from weak to developing, and that's what lets you start to rush units if you need to. Otherwise, culture is only important from a victory point perspective, so it's not something you have to jump on right away unless you are specifically targeting, I want to build this city up to a certain culture level to unlock these wonders to if you're building a strategy like that, culture would become relatively more important. But as a rule, culture is most important to get your cities from weak to developing. And like I said, then stone just eclipses everything as the game goes on. So that's how I would define that. So anyway, we'll stop the video here and I'll be back soon with another.